Hello everyone. I am Alice of KHR Arts and Cloud Orchid Publishing, and today we are going to talk about how I wrote Synesthesia Fables. This is one of my poetry collections that I wrote and fully illustrated, and it is about, you guessed it, fables. Now, these are not any sort of historical fables or folklore per se. They are things that I made up out of my own imagination, but they do follow a lot of traditional different kinds of folklore from around the world. In particular, I include a lot of Asian-based haiku poems, and as mentioned in my other videos about my other synesthesia poetry collections, how these poetry collections work is I just am constantly writing poetry. Whenever I write a new poem, I put it into my database, and then once I have a good amount of poems together that all fit into a particular theme, then I go ahead and I start putting that collection together with my business partner and bestie, Brian Thompson of Cloud Orchid Publishing. And then from there, we decide how exactly we want to present the poetry collection, whether we're going to combine it with artwork or photography. Now, with this particular poetry collection, I did go ahead and create illustrations as the artwork for this collection. And I did them all in this beautiful tarot card style type of illustration, in that each one of them has similar framing, and they're all presented with kind of that mythical sort of feel and look that you see with different tarot cards. That was the inspiration for how I created these illustrations, and then the actual picture itself that is within this framing has to do with a particular poem that is in the collection. There is not an illustration for every poem, but there are several illustrations in this book, and they are beautiful to look at. And as always, everything is full color, as all of our collections are. We do have a couple of books that are strictly black and white photography, but that is intentional, whereas all of the photography and illustrations included otherwise are always done in full color. Synesthesia Fables is a particular collection where I really did let my synesthesia run wild, but more so with the focus on fantasy and the idea of folklore stories. So all of these poems are told from the perspective of the old-fashioned oral telling of fairy tales and fables. And while some of these poems are inspired by historical folklore and by some stories I have heard or read, all of them are completely of my own making and are not to be related to any sort of existing material. Just to give y'all a heads up on that, there isn't anything that I would consider historical about this collection. I created this particular collection during the pandemic, specifically near the tail end of 2020 and way into the middle of 2021. And that goes for creating the poems and creating the illustrations. And actually, it was around this time that I started my Twitch channel, which started out primarily as an art channel and has now evolved into a gaming channel. But I did do live streams of me actually doing the illustrations for this collection. And if you go to my other YouTube channel, which I will put the link below in the description, is my KHR Arts channel. If you go to the playlist that is specifically my drawing live streams, I do have the live streams for how I created all of the illustrations for this particular collection. So if y'all want that little behind the scenes look, as well as I tell some fun stories while I'm doing the drawings, y'all can go ahead and check that out. As well as the particular illustrations for this collection have become so popular that I have had some people approach me and ask to do commissions of the particular art style that I did these in with the tarot card theme. And so I've been featuring a lot of that artwork on my social media channels as well. So it's just amazing what has evolved from creating this particular poetry collection. I do not have any particular poetry collection I am working on at this time, or any future plans for a poetry collection. However, as always, I am currently working on poems as I am inspired to do so, And whenever I have enough poems together to create a new poetry collection, I will be sure to announce that, so stay tuned. All right, y'all. I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a like. And if you're new, subscribe. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.